Hello and welcome to another edition of Sip and Talk with Vikram. In this segment, we introduce you to various new authors and their books. We'll talk to the authors in person. Mo Bonnell said, likability is a soft skill that leads to hard results. We have an distinguished guest with us who is in education management, who is in leadership management, innovator, mentor, growth leader, consultant, soft skills trainer, design thinker, and bestseller author of Soft Skills for a Big Impact. Her total career of 4 decades is simmering like a flavorful Hyderabadi biryani. Here we have with us Miss Renu Shorey. Welcome, Renu Shorey, to Sip and Talk with Vikram.
I want to hide behind this cup, Vikram. Thank you. That was a huge build-up. Thank you so much for having me over here. Thank you.
So, Renu, tell our viewers who is Renu Shorey.
Um, Renu Shorey, much advanced in years, lived a lot of life, has come a long way from the 21, 22-year-old, just graduate who landed in Hyderabad some 40 plus years ago and wasn't even allowed to step out of the house to probably take up a job because those were times when people or women generally didn't venture out unless they were, trained to be some kind of professional, an engineer or a doctor. So from that, just a graduate to being a teacher, to being a leader, a mentor, setting up schools, doing various courses, studying, learning along the way, fighting whole lot of battles, getting support, not getting support, to today, when actually in the last 1 year, and moved into being an author. So yes, that is where I am right now, Vikram.
Thank you. Thank you
Has
for
been a long
this
journey.
brief summary of your great career. We will continue with this conversation with Miss Renu Shorey over a cup of coffee. In the meanwhile, while she takes a sip of coffee, viewers stay with us throughout the end of this video and do subscribe. Press the red subscribe button, click the bell icon to stay notified, and do like and comment your key takeaways from this interview. Thank you so much. Coming back to her book, let me show you her book, viewers, and this is her book. Freedom to Discover Your Success Mantra, Soft Skills for a Big Impact. Renu, tell us about this book of yours.
Actually, book also cannot be told in 2, 3 words because the book is a byproduct of a journey that I undertook in this last 1 year. My last official assignment or job was the director principal of a school in Hyderabad, which I had set up. And in the 9 years of its from its seed to birth to growth, it had made a remarkable name for itself in the city and, if I may say, in the country. We ranked sixth in Telangana and we ranked 42 in India. And that is no mean achievement for such a young school. I mean, our competitors are schools of 50 years and whatever. So I was doing phenomenally well. To leave the job last year in March, next month it will be exact 1 year. There were various reasons. One, I wanted to move back up north. And second, a bit of boredom was setting in. I mean, I felt that I had to now do something different. So I quit in March without knowing. And I was planning to move out by mid or third week of March, and then everything stopped. Life stopped, movement stopped, job stopped. So I had disconnected from the school, and I had really nowhere to go. So that's when I started leveraging, thinking of what I could do next. At that point, I was just finishing my course with Stanford University, online course in design thinking. And I also came across a webinar where it was, how to be a master trainer. Now, I had always been a good communicator, and such a huge body of experience had given me a whole lot of skills and, critical observations about how people do not conduct themselves well in a working environment. So I thought I wanted to do something in that direction. I joined the course to be a trainer, and there I made soft skills my genre, and focused on that. During the course, I also realized that I needed to build credibility. I hadn't been there for the past 10, 20 years. So I had the material, I wanted credibility, I wanted to launch myself as a soft skill trainer. So a natural thought process was to write a book. And I started writing in early November, and by third week of December, I was done with it. So this soft skills was an area which had always bothered me. People came to me, I would interview a lot of people. They would come to me with huge degrees and hard skills all in place, but would do very poorly, and sometimes I would have to ask them to leave because they did not know how to get along with people. They did not manage time well, they had no good strong work ethics, or they could not adapt to any challenges that came their way. So all this led to thinking that soft skills was a very, very vital area which was unattended, and I could train in that. And in order to train in that, I needed to do more research. That's how the book came about, Vikram.
Thank you. So you said that soft skills are in a way more important than hard skills themselves.
Yeah, hard skills will get you an entry, you know. After that, after entering, whatever you do with yourself, with your life, with your career, would depend entirely on how well you have managed to coexist in that ecosphere, in that environment. There's a Harvard study which says that it's only 15% of your hard skills that give you success. 85% credit goes to your soft skills. So just imagine, I mean, what a huge focus needs to be there on soft skills, and how hugely we ignore that. All of us chase the hard skills, they have to be chased, no doubt about it, but we completely ignore. No school, no university, no college actually trains you and gives you these skills. So somewhere, if we start understanding the importance, I'm sure we would work towards it.
So Renu, you were into education for a considerable amount of time, and you
Right.
always had this strength of soft skills with you.
Right. Yeah.
Did you ever try to bring this into curriculum, training of soft skills for
Mhm.
students? And if you did,
Yeah,
then how much
absolutely.
did you succeed in?
I would say, since I spoke about my school and I mentioned to you that this is the kind of ranking we achieved, believe me, it was only because there were many, many facets that we were focusing on. And yes, soft skills was important. So important that even at a grade one level, or grade two level, there would be identified time and, learning outcomes planned in classes which were attending to soft skills. That means how to speak well, how to get along well. We would start normally the day again from 0 to 12 with what we would call circle time. And this circle time was actually entirely devoted to team building, empathy, connect with your classmates, interpersonal skills. And because we encouraged each child to speak, somewhere that communication was coming in, kicking in. Well, just initially 3 4 years down the line, we were already winning debates across the city. So absolutely, I was focused not only for the students, even for my staff. We would have not every week, every second week we would have small sessions for teachers also, because everybody came from different backgrounds. How to communicate with the students, with the parents, with your peers, with the class 4 staff, with your bosses, all these standardized procedures were being put in place. So yes, it was important. It was always being done, and it became a natural extension for me.
So it is good that if more schools would come up with this kind of approach towards soft skills and training of soft
Absolutely.
skills and bringing it
Hmm.
into the mainstream curriculum rather than just a co-curricular activity, that would help a lot in every
200%.
sector of the country and the world altogether.
Absolutely.
So, taking a
Absolutely.
hard look at soft skills, you've come across various facets of soft skills that are required in terms of communication, time management, relational skill, teamwork. And out of these,
Yeah.
like, which one do you think, like, which is the right path to move along? Like, if somebody wants to develop and hone up their skills, which is the
Hmm.
path to follow?
See, step one is they have to, first of all, they have to understand that they hold a lot of value. Once you have understood how important they are, then second step is a self assessment and maybe a peer assessment, because sometimes we know certain things and others know some things a little differently from what we know. It's our best friends or it's the people whose company we stay in who can help you. So first is to understand how important they are, second is to understand where you are positioned, and then third, a systematic approach and a will to improve upon them. Now, then it comes how to improve upon them. Uh, there are, communication, if that is an issue. These days, there are institutes which help you with communication. Then there are, I mean, this whole wide world of internet offers you so many programs, Udemy courses, so much of it. There is no dearth of material and possibilities available to you once you have figured out what you lack and that you want to get there. So it boils down to understanding and wanting to be there. Everything is about, yeah,
Talking about
please carry on.
communication,
Hmm.
there are books to be read, there are things to be researched upon, but what about the dialect and the accent of people, which varies
I
from,
know,
you know,
Vikram, I don't know whether, I don't know if you are aware or not. There are courses now where you actually have links which take you to the recording of the same text. Suppose there is a dialogue, given between two people. You read, you could read, but then have you read correctly? Below there is a link. I myself have recorded for a book, you know, pages after pages. This book was published by my very close friend, and the book's name is Correctly Speaking, and the author is Aradhna Rana. We are classmates from 50 years ago, and best friends still now. So the book has, after every piece of dialogue, there is a link. So you go there. That means you have the audio. You're not only picking up the correct construction of the sentences because the dialogues are there, you're also picking up the correct pronunciation. And this is just one book I'm talking about. That's why I said, no, thanks to the web, there is no dearth. You just have to be willing. You just have to be wanting to be there. It is there, you know?
very, very well said. True. You
Uh,
just need to have
yeah,
the drive in you and the willingness to
totally.
get
Yeah.
over it and do something, and the world is full of
Absolutely.
opportunities.
Absolutely. I mean, how could I write a book? 1 year back, I would not have dreamt that I would be a certified trainer, that I would be able to write a book, and that Vikram Khaitan will be interviewing me. I wanted it. It happened. That's how it
Thank you.
goes. Yeah.
So, viewers, there is a small secret about Renu which I would love to reveal with her permission. Renu, may I? So,
I am sure it will be something nice. So please go ahead.
Renu was featured in the Deccan Trailblazer as one of the iconic educationists of Hyderabad. So, some light on that, Renu, please.
Yeah. I was approached, I think, last year, no, year before last year, because last year, actually, I don't count. I think for all of us, that 1 year just disappeared. So the year prior to that, I was approached by this lady who was doing research on renowned and established and acknowledged educationists of Hyderabad. So she came to me and she wanted to know if I would be okay, because she had done research about me and she really thought I qualified to be one of the top educationists in Hyderabad. So I was obviously pleased, because she also wanted to know what were the tips. And this book was to be shared and circulated amongst schools across the state and India. So that is how, and I felt really proud, because I was one of the, I think, 11 or 13 acknowledged, recognized educationists across Hyderabad. So the book was, yeah, The Trailblazers, and I was a Trailblazer Blue
That
came in
made a
number.
celebrity
Yeah.
out of you then.
Actually, I have lived in Hyderabad for so long and I have been in education for so long. Sometimes it's just the years that keep on giving you that status.
So well deserved. So Renu, tell us something about teamwork. Like there are, people who
Okay.
can do very good on their own and, they can walk a long way. But what about teamwork?
Hmm. See, except crazy scientists or crazy mathematicians, who probably can exist in isolation. I don't think in this whole world anybody can exist alone. We Homo sapiens are social beings. We thrive in communities, in societies, whether it is in personal space or it is in professional space. So, in professional space, it becomes more important, because there your professional success depends upon that. That means your promotions, your salary. In personal space, you may make a mess of your life. It is, affecting you, maybe only you know. So coming back to me and my teamwork. First of all, I have always been a very, very people's person. Even, I mean, people keep on coming back to me saying, my God, one wouldn't think, whatever, think that you are a big boss or whatever. Because if you are, if there is a party to be arranged, I'm equally involved with the staff in pulling a table and a chair, all these things. If I don't do that, I won't feel normal, because that's how I am. And sure, many persons must be. So I'll give you an example. How strong was my teamwork? I quit last year, and the week before that, I was supposed to be handing over, and the promoter or the person I reported to, he just walked into his office and everything in order, just asked me, and are you done with the handing over? What is your plan? And I was like, I had my two deputies with me, and I was like, honestly, there is no handing over, because whatever happens, I have always done it with my team. There isn't a password that I need to share, there isn't a file that I need to hand over. So I don't know, I mean, I could get up and walk out now, or a week later it would not. So I really pride myself on that when I was leaving, I really had no handing over to do, because everything had been hand in hand, you know. So yeah, it has been I mean, that's been important to me. I've never sat on a pedestal. If somebody was speaking to me standing, I would either stand up because I was uncomfortable, or I would insist that you also speak. And believe me, many people would refuse to sit. I would stand up and then they would be
I'm thoroughly enjoying this conversation, viewers. I hope you are doing that as well. And this is my privileged opportunity to question a teacher and get answers from her.
I know, I know. I am in the dock. Right. Mhm.
So, Renu, tell us something about adaptability. Adaptability is something which
Mhm.
nowadays, in the more globalized scenario where boundaries are very thin, what do you suggest about developing our own adaptability?
Vikram, adaptability actually has come to be our mainstay for survival. And I mean, this is something on which I can actually talk for 2 hours, and you will have to really tell me, acha bas. Because It is adaptability. Look at how we are sitting and talking. You are somewhere hundreds of miles away. I am here. And we are still making a success of things because of adaptability. Wherever you turn and look, and this has hit us in our face the hardest in this last 1 year. Anybody who could have thought would have thought that, okay, I can do the same thing for the same number of years and keep on getting same brilliant results, knows what a wrong or what a fallacy that is. So adaptability is important, and it can never be overstressed. And for schools, they moved from being offline schools to online schools. The whole world moved. If we didn't have this adaptability, we would have just fallen by the wayside and perished.
View about adaptability, how important it is, and about the globalized impact of digitization. So this has
Mhm.
become even more important. Now,
Mhm.
you are also an avid traveler, Renu, and tell us about your travel experiences that, vis-a-vis the adaptability, vis-a-vis the soft skills of the people across the world, how different they are from ours. Just throw some light on that, please.
Um, yeah, different places, different cultures, different decorum, different expectations. Yes, I have traveled. I won't say too much, but yes, quite a lot. Within the country. Within the country, I did not barring food, which is awesome in different parts of the country, and you keep getting surprised how much variety can be possible with the same, chawal and dal and rice and all that. So there have been no real surprises across the country, but when one has traveled abroad, one has noticed at some places you are really looked up to, celebrated. I have loved being in Singapore, in Sri Lanka, and places like that. Europe has been very nice. USA, I find people extremely polite, whether they are genuinely so or not, but nothing happens without an excuse me and thank you. And we Indians, for various reasons, I really don't blame ourselves. We are so many and we have to somehow survive. So you could be in a busy market, people elbow you, people nudge you, and nobody stops to say sorry or excuse me. So somewhere, despite knowing that these are the magical words, or uh, they don't come naturally to us. But when you travel abroad, you realize how particular they are, and how important it is to them that everybody maintains this kind of decorum. You go to a restaurant, and the minute, I mean, they put your food in front of you, it's a big smile and say, hope you enjoy your meal and stuff like that. Nobody says things like this here. So it's very nice. This part really impresses me when I travel abroad. People are much more polite. They are much more mindful of order in the queue and stuff like that. And as I said, some countries you are really looked up to. Sri Lanka, as I got so many compliments actually in a store. A few people were actually trailing behind me. So, or yeah, some places I think Indians are still looked up to. So it's lovely going to those places. Other places you learn that you have really a lot to learn.
So India also has a very rich heritage and a culture, and it also
Absolutely.
has its own
Charm,
charms and civil manners, so to say.
yeah.
So, how do you appreciate those things about India?
Um, One I love, again, thanks to our circumstances, we can handle anything and everything. Now, somewhere, all our hardships have prepared us to handle life with much more confidence, ability, and dignity, if I may say. We don't go berserk. So that's something awesome. And I love the color. Oh, it's so drab, those countries. Because they are so cold. So most of the country, most of the people are in grays and blues and blacks. And I just come back and I rejoice at being able to pull out pinks and oranges and reds. And there I get lost. lanes, bylanes, everything looks the same. Here, I'm not getting lost. So, no, no. See, and another thing is, just because somebody else's mother is very pretty, doesn't mean you will like your mother less. India is
True.
my
Well said.
country,
Well
my
said.
mom.
And yeah, I
That's it.
love that statement. Yes. And it's not just about being, having all the resources. It is about being resourceful. So
Totally.
yeah,
And
so
that
being
we love.
resourceful is also a very good soft skill. What do you say, Renu, to
Oh,
that?
absolutely. Absolutely. I should include that, Vikram, in my next chapter or next edition, right? It is important.
So, Renu, you have also dabbled a bit deep with critical thinking. So, tell us about critical thinking from your perspective.
Again, I would say this is some kind of a legacy. You know, we were ruled for so long by British, and they had strategically decided to keep Indians subdued, slow, is to suppress and give them a mentality of obeying, not asking questions. We somewhere lost it. And not asking questions is like being dead. It is like you don't want to know more than you do. So, we as a generation, now that we are becoming more aware, need again to somewhere, impress upon ourselves and our, fellow beings that critical thinking is important. And what is critical thinking? It is asking questions. It is questioning the status quo. It is not settling for half information, quarter information, no information, and just accepting things. So if you don't ask question, um, how do you get convinced of what you are doing? Why are you doing it? The minute you have conviction, you are a better performer. So we need to be critical thinkers so that we can learn, we can grow, we can invest in our learning, and we actually can start taking pride in whatever we are doing and not just accept it. So, I mean, how do we survive without critical thinking? That's what.
Very well said. So, this is my key takeaway from your conversation today, that we have to ask questions, we have to test our own truth, we have
Absolutely.
to validate our beliefs by asking questions.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
So, thank you very much, Renu,
Very.
for coming on this show and sharing such beautiful insights about soft skills and its importance.
Thank you.
Thank you very much once again, and namaste.
Thank you so much. Vikram, you gave me an opportunity to speak about something which is so close to my heart. And how much, after all, one can write. So this gave me an opportunity to probably add to whatever I had written. Thank you and all the best. And God bless you, Vikram. Namaste.
Thank you. Namaste.